The House will please come to order. Those persons not having privilege of the floor will please vacate the chamber. All members and guests in the galleries will please rise as we are led in prayer today by Miss Maddie Black, a student at Cabell County Career Technology Center. Miss Black is the guest of the gentleman in the 26th District, Delegate Rohrbach.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather together in this free and wonderful country this morning. We pray for guidance and direction for each of the members of this House, and that you continue to bless our beautiful mountain state. In Jesus' name we humbly pray, amen.
Please remain standing as we are led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by the gentleman in the 76th District, Delegate Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would everybody joining me with saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members and guests may be seated. Reading of the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, February 9, 2026.
House will please be in order. Reading of the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, February 19th, 2026.
Led in the 56th, Delegate Young.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read.
The lady in the 56th asks unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read. Are there objections? There are no objections. Further reading of the journal will be dispensed with. Introductions. Introductions. Lady from the 19th, Delegate Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everybody. Today, I am honored to welcome Hope Scholarship families from across our great state, parents who have stepped forward to take an active role in shaping their children's education, and students whose futures are being strengthened through opportunity, choice, and innovation. These families represent dedication, sacrifice, and a deep commitment to doing what is best for their children, often balancing work schedules and countless responsibilities to ensure their students learn in ways that fit their unique needs. Behind every one of these students is a story of hope, perseverance, and belief in a brighter future, and their presence here reminds us that the decisions we make within these walls impact real families, real dreams, and real possibilities for the next generation of West Virginians. If they all would stand, which I think they all are, and if the House could please make them very welcome today.
Gentleman from the 3rd, Delegate Willis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of myself and the entirety of the Northern Panhandle delegation, I would like to welcome some staff members from the Wheeling Health Right today down here. They are a charitable clinic who are treating patients up and down the Northern Panhandle and were a tremendous help to us during last summer's floods in Ohio County. If the Executive Director, Ann Ricci, Assistant Director, Dee Phillips, Nursing Supervisor Alice Pagan, and Community Health Worker Sheila McGee are standing in the South Gallery. If the House would please help me make these wonderful ladies feel welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to have a page here today from Gilbert Middle School, Mr. Kanan Endicott. He's an 8th grader there. He's a standout student and athlete. His mom and dad are both former co-workers of mine, teachers in Mingo County, and he is escorted today by his mother, Stephanie Endicott. If you would, please make them feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 22nd, Delegate Linville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've got a group from the Cabell Career Technology Schools in the West Gallery. If they would please stand. They're joined by their instructors, Charlie Vaughn and Hugh Roberts. If they'd stand in the House, make them feel welcome.
Gentleman from the 80th, Delegate Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First off, I have a page today. I have Addison Smith from Morgantown High School. She wants to, she's going to study next year at WVU, Economics and Accounting, and wants to get into politics someday. If she would please stand as she has. And she's with her mom in the South Gallery. Her mom's name is Shauna. If she would please stand. And then we also have some folks, some really bright students with a great future ahead of them here today from MTech, and they are with Carrie Lacey. If they would all please stand, if the house would give them a warm welcome.
Lady in the 56, take it young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I'm proud to be joined by a couple pages. I've got Emmeline Williams, if she would stand. She's in the 5th grade at Sacred Heart Elementary, and she's joined by her mom, Ashley, in the South Gallery. If everyone would make her welcome. Yay. And then I've got 2 more pages, if they would please stand. We've got Silas Wilbur and Cole Foster. They're in the 7th and 6th grade at John Adams, and some of my son's closest friends. And they're joined by their grandmother, Kathy, and their grandfather, Dr. Dan Foster, who served in the legislature from 2002 to 2014 in the West Gallery. If everyone would make all of them feel welcome.
Gentleman in the 61st, take it Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Speaker Hanshaw and myself, we would like to welcome the following students from Little Kanawha Valley Christian today, serving as pages. If they would stand, we have Landon Barr, Jason Snyder, Samuel Snyder, J.C. Barr, Eli Kinder, McKenna Weiss, Broden Rowe, and Eli Farrell. House, make them feel welcome.
Gentleman number 36, take it Green.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have some guests in the North Gallery from West Virginia Virtual Academy. Xavier Lavestead, here also with his mother Leah and Elvin, Alyssa Scott, Dean Ross, my son Joseph, and also they're there with their coordinator, career readiness coordinator, Jeremy Green, if the House would make them feel welcome.
The gentleman in the 89, take it Cannon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm very proud to be joined today by Hampshire High School CTE program, and these are some bright rising stars in our school district. And when I call their name, would they please stand? Alessa Unra, Aiden McCrory, Camilo Arellana, Nathan Cook, Shania Delaney, Ann Hirsch, and their distinguished CTE teachers, Jenny Nation, who is Education Rising Advisor, and Brandy Myers, who is also a CTE advisor and DECA advisor. Would you please join me in helping me make them feel welcome to the House, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
The gentleman in the 46, take it Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Delegate Canterbury and I have 3 pages today from Eastern Greenbrier Middle School. If they will stand or wave, if they're out here on the floor right now when I call their names, Mylan Newman, Madeline McMillan, and Sadie Baker. They're here today with their families up in the West Gallery. If they'll stand when I call their names, please. Jacob Newman, Amy McMillan, McKenna McMillan, and Sarah Baker. Will the House please give them a wild and wonderful West Virginia welcome?
Gentleman with 66, take it Kyle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm proud to welcome back a returning page, Miss Aaliyah Sharp from Taggart Valley Middle School, and she's joined today by her mother, Carrie Sharp, Chance Swecker, and her good friend Sadie Wright up in the gallery. If you'll please make them feel welcome.
Lady in the 71st, take it Kimball.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. I have the honor and privilege of introducing a page today. If he wouldn't mind to please stand. He is Henrik Kunzler from Heritage Christian School in Bridgeport, and he is escorted today by his mom, Kelly. So would you please give him a nice, warm welcome?
Gentleman in the 28, take it Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a page today with me from Wayne County's Buffalo Middle School. She's a 7th grader there, Miss Ruby Perry, and she is accompanied by her mother and father, Shane and Savannah. If the House could please make her feel welcome.
Are there further introductions? If not, standing committee reports.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 5110, amend section providing for waiver of tuition and fees for older persons auditing certain college classes. Reports the same back with recommendation that do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on Finance.
Report to be received. Gentleman, the 37th.
Mr. Speaker, the two chairs having conferred, I ask unanimous consent that the second reference to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Gentleman from the 37th asked unanimous consent that the second reference to the Committee on Finance on House Bill 5110 be dispensed with. Are there objections? Okay, if not, there'll be second reference to the Committee on Finance will be dispensed with. Clerk will please place the bill upon the counter. Further standing committee reports.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4798, requiring teachers to wear a mobile alert button for emergency situations to be known as Alyssa's Law. Reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation the committee substitute do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on Finance.
That report will be received. Gentleman, the 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The two chairs having conferred, I ask unanimous consent that the second reference to the Committee on Finance be dispensed with.
Gentleman, the 37th asked unanimous consent that the second reference to the Committee on Finance for House Bill 4798 be dispensed with. Are there objections? If not, that second reference will be dispensed with. Clerk will please place the bill upon the calendar. Further standing committee reports.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 5416 to ensure continuity of title, protection of third parties, and orderly transition from trustee-based governance to corporate governance for churches and religious organizations. House Bill 5444 relating to increasing the amount of fees to be paid by parolees for supervision. And House Bill 5454 relating to the Select Committee for the West Virginia Fusion Center. Reports committee substitutes back therefore with the recommendation each do pass.
That report will be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 5406 relating to driving under the influence, House Bill 5449 repealing the addiction treatment pilot program. Reports the same back with the recommendation each do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 5015 relating to the Respiratory Care Interstate Compact. Reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation the committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration committee substitute for Senate Bill 251, authorizing Department of Administration to promulgate legislative rules, and reports the same back with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance had under consideration House Bill 5682, supplemental appropriation to expire funds to surplus balance of general revenue. Reports the same back with the recommendation that do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance had under consideration House Bill 4027, the budget bill making appropriations of public money out of the Treasury in accordance with Section 51, Article 6 of the Constitution, and reports to committee substitute back therefore with the recommendation committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Energy and Public Works has had under consideration House Bill 5492 relating to advance purchase agreements for electric substation transformers, and reports the same back with amendment, the recommendation that the bill pass as amended.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Energy and Public Works had under consideration House Bill 4971 relating to requiring electric substations near industrial parks and certain high voltage transmission lines. The reports committee substitute back therefore with the recommendation the committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Energy and Public Works had under consideration House Bill 4481, West Virginia Load Forecast Accountability Act, and reports committee substitute back therefore with recommendation committee substitute do pass.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration House Bill 5471 to provide pay increases to members of the judiciary, and reports the same back with the recommendation that do pass, but first be referred to the Committee on Finance.
The report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4485, allow education employees to donate sick leave to coworkers for maternity leave, House Bill 5412, Future Ready Education Act, and House Bill 5438 to modify the foundation allowance to improve instructional programs, and reports committee substitutes back therefore with the recommendation that each do pass, but first be referred to your Committee on Finance.
The report will be received. Each bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Health and Human Resources had under consideration House Bill 5582, extending program for drug screening of applicants for TANF, and reports the committee substitute back therefore with recommendation the committee substitute do pass.
The report will be received. Other standing committee reports, select committee reports, executive messages, Senate messages.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed with amendment and title amendment committee substitute for House Bill 4196 to offer long-acting reversible contraception to patients receiving methadone and Suboxone at the treatment facility for the methadone and Suboxone.
Message will be received. Gentleman to 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4196 is intended to offer long-term reversible contraception to patients receiving methadone and Suboxone at the treatment facility for the methadone and Suboxone. The Senate's amendment removes a code section specific to opioid treatment facilities for being duplicative, as the other amended code section regulates both methadone and Suboxone treatment facilities. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I move the House concur with the Senate amendments.
Gentleman from the 37th moves that the House concur in the Senate amendment on committee substitute for House Bill 4196. Is there debate on the gentleman's motion? If not, those in favor of adoption of the motion will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. Chair declares the motion adopted. Chair does note that the Senate also adopted a title amendment. This time, are there objections to including in the gentleman's motion a reformation to include adoption of the Senate title amendment? Okay, if no objections are heard, clerk will please note the reformation of the motion offered by the gentleman from the 37th to include adoption of the title amendment adopted by the Senate. Clerk will please, at this time, the question before the House is, shall the bill as amended pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 92 ayes, 4 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4196.
Are there further title amendments? If not, the title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next Senate message.
Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed with title amendment committee substitute for House Bill 4335 relating to Medicaid providers.
Message will be received. Gentleman to 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate amendment clarifies the title and makes the bill effective from passage. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House concur with the Senate amendment.
Gentleman from the 37th moves that the House concur in the Senate title amendment for committee substitute for House Bill 4335. Is there debate on the motion? If not, those in favor of adoption of the Senate title amendment, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Chair declares the title amendment adopted. Gentleman to 37th.
Mr. Speaker, I move the bill be made effective from passage.
Gentleman to 37th moves that the bill be made effective for passage. Chair will postpone the gentleman's motion until after further consideration of the question on passage of the bill as amended. The question before the House now is passage of the bill. Is there debate on committee substitute for House Bill 4335? Gentleman the 23rd, Delegate Worrell.
Yes, very briefly, Mr. Speaker, just to remind everyone, what this bill does is it enables quicker access to care for all of your constituency. We worked in the off-season with the interims, and we heard from the enrollment provider as well as the MCOs and the way they credential providers. And we heard that sometimes it's taking up to over 6 months for providers to be able to provide care to patients that desperately need it. So this bill is a conglomeration or a collaboration of a bunch of people and with Medicaid and the enrollee and providers to speed that process up to make it much quicker so that our providers can provide quicker access to care for our constituents. I'd appreciate your support, and I look forward to the governor signing the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4335.
Are there further title amendments? If not, the title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will now please report the motion offered by the gentleman at 37th that the bill be made effective from passage. Question is on the gentleman's motion that the bill take effect from its passage. Committee substitute for House Bill 4335. Those in favor of the motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next Senate message.
Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment House Bill 4696, authorizes the Department of Environmental Protection to deposit funds granted pursuant to federal programs.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed without amendment Committee Substitute for House Bill 4740, Statutory Commitments in Rural Health Transformation Program.
Message to be received.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed with amendment and title amendment Committee Substitute for House Bill 4982, Make West Virginia Healthy Act of 2026.
Message to be received. Gentleman to 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate amendment updates tech terminology and makes technical edits to make it congruous with the previously adopted House amendment. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I move the House concur with the Senate amendment.
The question now is on the gentleman's motion that the House concur in the Senate amendment on committee substitute for House Bill 4982. If there are no objections, we'll reform the motion to also include adoption of the Senate title amendment. No objections are heard. Clerk will please note to reformation. Is there debate on the motion that the House concur in the Senate amendment and title amendment on committee substitute for House Bill 4982? If not, those in favor of adoption of the motion, please say aye. As opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Chair declares the motion adopted. The question now before the House is, shall the bill pass as amended? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, we had 90 ayes, 6 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee Substitute for House Bill 4982.
Are there further title amendments? If not, the title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next Senate message.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed the following Senate bills. Senate Bill 28, allowing members of the State Police Retirement System to use accrued leave as credit toward retirement.
The message will be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 206, updating retirement eligibility for certain sheriffs.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Senate Bill 228, relating to use of technology in child abuse and neglect investigations.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Health and the Committee on Finance.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 549, phasing in increase in daily rate of juror pay.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 575, relating to refusal review hearings.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
Senate Bill 717, modifying disability and retirement benefits and procedures for municipal police officers and firefighters.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 724, relating to home confinement officers' participation in the EMS retirement system.
The message will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance. Do we have other Senate messages? If not, this time, the chair asks, are there objections to further consideration of House Bill 4696 for the purpose of an effective date? Okay, no objections are heard. Clerk will please report House Bill 4696 for further consideration.
House Bill 4696 authorizes the Department of Environmental Protection to deposit funds granted pursuant to federal programs.
Gentleman to 37th.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be made effective from passage.
The question is on the gentleman's motion that House Bill 4696 be made effective from passage. Those in favor of the gentleman's motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. There were 95 ayes, 1 nay, and 4 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the motion adopted and the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Are there further Senate messages? If not, resolutions, petitions, bills introduced, motions, unfinished business, bills on third reading.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 256, authorizing DEP to promulgate legislative rules.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having this bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman the 11th, Douglas Fehrenbacher, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This committee substitute is the Department of Environmental Protection rule bundle for this year, containing 10 proposed by the department. The 10 rules are 45 CSR 01, alternative emission limitations during startup and shutdown operations. 45 CSR 08, ambient air quality standards. 45 CSR 16, standards of performance for new stationary sources. 45 CSR 18, control of air pollution from combustion of solid waste. 45 CSR 25, control of air pollution from hazardous waste treatment, storage, and disposal facilities. 45 CSR 34, emission standards for hazardous air pollutants. 45 CSR 43, cross-state air pollution rule to control annual nitrogen oxide emissions, annual sulfur dioxide emissions, and ozone season nitrogen oxide emissions. 33 CSR 20, hazardous waste management system. 47 CSR 02, requirements governing water quality standards. And 47 CSR 09B, carbon dioxide sequestration fee schedule. The highlights are the air-related rules are necessary for West Virginia to remain consistent with federal government requirements so that we can keep primary enforcement authority. Also, the severability language, which was passed a few years ago, is being removed to satisfy an EPA requirement. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman with 79th, Douglas Hanson, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to start by thanking the gentleman from the 11th for the nerd battle that we had yesterday. And sometimes things get a little bit nerdy when we're talking about water quality standards. But that's necessary when we're talking about technical subjects, and we as a legislature have the responsibility to engage in those debates on rules. It's within our power and responsibility to review the rules that our agencies propose and make a decision about whether they think they did it correctly or incorrectly. And the amendment that I proposed yesterday, in my opinion, made an important correction to the rules that the Department of Environmental Protection proposed related to water quality standards. There's no need to get into the technical details again today, other than to say what the DEP did was they made one portion of the rules less stringent, but they ignored the same science that would have made other parts of the rule more stringent. The same science, the same guidance document, the same calculations from the federal EPA. They picked and chose at the behest of a single industry rather than thinking about the broader public interest. So, I will be voting no on this rules package for that reason, because I don't want to see more deformed fish and fish with birth defects in West Virginia streams and West Virginia lakes. And I think that we should be making rules and policies in the broader public interest that protects people who fish and eat fish from West Virginia waters, and West Virginians who are concerned about clean water across the state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Question again is, shall the bill pass? Is there further debate on the bill? Does the gentleman on the 11th wish to close debate on the bill? The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 84 ayes, 12 nays, 4 members absent. Majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 256.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Anderson moves to amend the title.
The question is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. Chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title as amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. Gentleman, the 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the bill be made effective from passage.
The question now is on the gentleman's motion that the bill be made effective from passage. Those in favor of the motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 86 ayes, 10 nays, and 4 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 309, authorizing DOT to promulgate legislative rules.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 39th, Douglas Smith, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute for Senate Bill 309 is the Department of Transportation Rule Bundle, otherwise known as Bundle 8, and its purpose is to authorize the Department's Division of Motor Vehicles to promulgate 3 legislative rules. First, the bill authorizes the division to promulgate a rule repealing 91 CSR 11, which is an antiquated and outdated rule that has not been amended since 1974. Second, the bill authorizes the division to promulgate 91 CSR 13, which pertains to compulsory motor vehicle liability insurance and makes only minor revisions to the current rule. Third, the bill authorizes the division to extend the sunset date of 91 CSR 25, which pertains to special purpose vehicles, to August 1st, 2031. I urge passage.
You've heard the bill explained. The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, we had 94 ayes, 2 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 309.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. Gentleman from the 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the bill be made effective from passage.
Questions on the gentleman's motion that the bill take effect from passage. Those in favor of the motion will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, we had 94 ayes, 2 nays, and 4 members absent. 2/3 of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill effective from passage. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 640, prohibiting release of certain personal information of contributors to political elections.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman from the 55th, Douglas Akers, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We heard about Senate Bill 640 yesterday during the amendment phase. This committee substitute requires individual campaign contributors' street names, street numbers, employer information, and the campaign treasurer's street name and street number to be redacted from any publicly facing campaign finance statements before those documents are made public. It also contains enumerated remedies in the event of wrongful disclosure. Mr. Speaker, that's a brief description of the bill. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 25th, Douglas Hornbuckle, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman, the chairman, yield, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You were going down the new provisions of the code, and you talked about treasurers not being able to get to their addresses, correct?
The amendment we passed yesterday would require redaction of the treasurer's address.
Awesome. And what about the provisions in relation to all business entities, business affiliations?
I'm not understanding your question. I apologize.
And so has that been redacted as well?
With regard to the treasurer?
Employers.
The treasurer is street address only, I believe, is the way that amendment. That was the amendment that the gentleman from the 79th proposed in committee, and which the committee adopted in the House version of this bill. So we just adopted that same amendment into the Senate version that we're voting on now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Permission to speak to the bill?
Yes, the gentleman is recognized.
Another election bill. Another election bill. And why I do feel that concealing the addresses of a treasurer could potentially do some good. To just totally wipe out any employment information, I think it's on its face, and I think it flies in the face of transparency. We are going backwards. This is going to allow, again, yet more money to be put into politics and making it harder for it to be traced and not available to the public. I feel that this is very bad for the people of West Virginia, and I urge you all to vote this down.
Is there other debate on the bill? Those gentlemen wish to close debate on the bill. If not, the question. Gentleman from the 57, Douglas Lewis.
Thank you. Would the gentleman yield for a question?
Yes, sir.
Now, there's a provision in the bill that talks about FOIA. Could you just elaborate on that?
Can you tell me we're looking? I apologize.
Sorry. Shit. Page 15.
Page 15. All right. Give me just 1 second. All right. I got you. Which line?
3 and 4. Well, I guess, 1 through 4.
Okay.
And 3A, 6A, financial statement forms,
Yes, sir.
filing depositions.
Yes, sir.
My question is that when nobody would have access to the, like a citizen, a third party would not have, they couldn't make freedom of information requests for if there's an issue?
Well, let's talk about what information is available for any folks who are listening who may not know what this bill does. So, number one, the Secretary of State does still get the information. So the Secretary of State would maintain all the same information that they obtain today if this bill passes. They still get all the same employer information, all the same street address and name information. What this would do is say that if someone sends in a FOIA for the public finance records, they would get the name of the donor and they would get the donor's occupation. So you still know the name of the person who contributes money, you know how much money they contributed, and you know what they do for a living. The publicly facing information just would no longer include their specific address or who their specific employer is.
Okay, so for the FOIA, we would still get some information. You would just not have access to the addresses.
Correct. It's the publicly disclosable information which will be allowable, which again is name, donation amount, and occupation.
Okay, what about a business affiliation?
Your employer is not would be protected from public disclosure, but the Secretary of State has that information still.
Okay, so the information that they would have access to is already the information that would be published, correct? There was be no need to make a FOIA request because that would already be publicly disclosed information, correct?
Well, I mean, I guess they could send a FOIA request in for other information that is still potentially disclosable. But yeah, this particular information, if all they wanted was your address or your employer, no, that would not be allowed. That would be an exemption that the Secretary of State would have to exert in that circumstance.
Gotcha. And again, I understand why we would take some of that information off the website. I get that. But why would we need to, again, if somebody's doing an investigation or there's a deeper issue going on, why would we remove the provision for the FOIA request?
Well, because that is publicly available information. That would be no different than what the Secretary of State publishes online now. So right now, if you go look at the campaign finance disclosures, you'll see the donor's name, address, donation amount, and their employer and occupation. So the Secretary of State would be providing that same information in response to a FOIA, except by redacting address and occupation if we pass this bill.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there further debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 54th, Douglas Pushkin, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I can definitely understand what I believe is in the intent behind this bill, which really is to protect people in these times that we're living in. When you keep hearing about these acts and threats of political violence, a reaction would be to conceal this type of personal information. However, that's an overreaction, and it's the wrong reaction, because what we're doing is becoming less transparent, and there is a very good reason why we report over a certain dollar amount, their employer, where they work, and all that has to be reported, and that's how you identify some of the instances that were discussed by my friend who sits next to me yesterday. He brought up a instance where a business in Mon County, the employer was donating illegally through employees. That's a way to skirt the rules on individual limits, on limits on individual contributions. It's a way to skirt the rules on corporate contributions. And while, yes, this isn't part of criminal code, and you can say that it is already illegal, but this is how you identify it. This is how you identify it. And you could say, well, if the Secretary of State has it, well, I'd like for the public to see it. I'd like for the press to be able to see it, because that's how things get uncovered. You cannot always rely on government to police itself. And that's why we've had these laws in place for so long. And that's why we need to be very transparent when it comes to campaign contributions. Make sure there are no conflicts of interest and that people aren't circumventing the laws and possibly giving more than they're supposed to give through people who work for them, who sometimes feel coerced to do so. The law as it stands now is good. It's worked for years. I don't know why we're changing it.
Question before the gentleman of the 55th, Douglas Akers, to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wasn't going to close, but in response to the remarks about not sure why we want to pass this law. Again, we had policy discussion in committee, talked about this some in the House floor yesterday, and I made some of these remarks a little more generally yesterday, but I'll be more specific, and I'll talk about, again, just myself personally for a moment in relation to why we think we might want to make this information protected for donors. Now, as politicians, we all sign up for this. We shouldn't, get sympathy for running for office or holding these positions. We ask for it. But, I can tell you, again, with more specificity than yesterday, last year we had, again, this relates to why we want to protect donors under this bill as a policy decision if we pass this bill. Last year we had a controversial bill at one point, had an amendment passed on the bill on the House floor that I was asked to present, and everyone supported it. There were no votes on the voice vote. A few days later, there's a press release issued by some folks saying that I had endangered children's lives and had done something essentially disgusting for the state of West Virginia, and blah, blah, blah. That's politics. Stuff goes that way sometimes. A little surprising to me that it happened, but in response to that statewide press release, I got some calls here, which is fine. It's my political office. Some of the calls said that I should be dead. One person said I should have a bullet in the back of my head. Whatever, that's what happened to the Capitol. But my secretary, who again I said yesterday is the sweetest person you would ever want to meet, has worked for me for about 16 years. Literally like our family. And just the nicest lady you could ever run into. She got calls at the office that she should be ashamed, that she works for me, that she must also be a terrible person, that she's vile and disgusting because she works for someone who would do such a thing as what I allegedly did here on the House floor one day. And she had people come in the office and tell her the same thing to her face when she's there by herself working because I was here. So she was alone. And because that was my business and not my Capitol office, that's some of what she had to deal with. So again, I'm not asking for sympathy because of that, but I'm only giving you a real-world example of what donors may have to deal with if people know who their employer are. You're still going to know the donor names. You're still going to know how much the donors gave. And you'll still know what the donor's occupation is. We're just going to provide a little bit of protection for the donor in terms of where they work so that their employer won't be harassed, so that their employment won't potentially be jeopardized, so they can donate and exercise their First Amendment rights and not have to worry about whether their coworkers will be harassed, intimidated, and yelled at. Someone's going to walk in off the street, maybe. It's easy enough to find folks. This just provides a little bit of extra protection so that the people who aren't running for office, the people who aren't in this building, but the people who just want to participate get a little bit extra protection. That's it. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, there are 78 ayes, 17 nays, and 5 members absent. The majority of members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 640.
Are there title amendments?
Delegate Akers moves to amend the title.
The question is on adoption of the title amendment. Those in favor of adoption of the title amendment will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. Chair declares the title amendment adopted. The title is amended by the House will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4355 to create a new hunting license stamp for upland game birds.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. The gentleman, the 64th, Douglas Burkhammer, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Committee substitute as amended yesterday for House Bill 4355 creates a new optional DNR upland game bird stamp that may be purchased alongside a standard hunting license for the purpose of in-state hunting ruffed grouse, bobwhite quail, and ringneck pheasant upland game birds in West Virginia wildlife management areas or additional lands designated by the Director of DNR. Fee revenue will be used to purchase and release the upland game birds and to develop and manage upland game bird habitat in WMAs and in the additional DNR designated lands. As amended yesterday, hunters on their own land do not require the stamp. Licensed hunters hunting off of the WMAs do not require the stamp, and current holders of lifetime DNR hunting licenses need not purchase the stamp as well. Lastly, to clarify, this does not prohibit you from taking your friends snipe hunting. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman, the 14th, Douglas Fogland, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to make sure everyone's clear that this is not a tax on hunters. It is no different than someone who wants to go catch a trout in the mountains. They buy a trout stamp. Someone that wants to shoot a bear buys a bear damage stamp. This is no different. If you don't want to hunt upland game birds on wildlife management areas, you don't buy the stamp. Thank you.
Is there further debate on the bill? Gentleman, the 5th, Douglas Fluharty, is recognized.
Thank you. Will gentleman yield? So, this is not my area of expertise, but are these birds not already huntable in West Virginia?
They are, but they are, the population has severely decreased over the years. There has been recent attempts in releasing quail in some of the wildlife management areas. What we're doing here would try to help support that program and help it through sustainability.
It looks like there were birds removed from the original bill. Do you understand that? Like, was there a reason why? Could you tell us what was removed?
Yeah, I think the focus was on the 3 birds that will be released as part of this program.
So who did we remove? What birds were removed?
As I made a little bit of a joke, the snipe bird was removed, and I can't remember the woodcock.
Okay, the woodcock. All right. So the birds are huntable now, and with the stamp, they would pay a fee.
If you are going to hunt in the areas they're being released, which will be the wildlife management areas.
So the gentleman said it's not a tax, but it's a fee.
It is a fee for hunting in the areas where they're being released. This is very similar to already the trout program, where you buy a trout stamp that then funnels back into the trout release program to make that program sustainable.
All right. It's not a tax, but a fee. Got it. Thank you.
Very clear, it says fee.
Yeah. Thanks for yielding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there other debate on the bill? Gentleman, the 64th, debate on the bill. If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 64 ayes, 32 nays, and 4 members absent. Majority of members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares it passed. Clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4355.
The clerk be in remaining title of the bill. Clerk will please communicate the action of the House, the Senate. Next bill on 3rd reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4546 require biannual reports for limited liability and foreign limited liability companies.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having this bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? No objections are heard. Gentleman, the 55th, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4546 allows business entities registered with the Secretary of State to elect biannual reporting instead of annual reporting after they maintain 5 consecutive years of timely filings and good standings. It also increases the amount of the fee charged for biannual reporting, doubles it, so if you file once every 2 years instead of annually, there's no revenue shortfall caused by that choice or election to move to 2 years. This originally started as a bill to allow for biannual reporting for LLCs. It's now moved to encompass all annual reporting that's required by the Secretary of State's office. That's a brief description of the bill. Mr. Speaker, I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 members absent. Majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4546.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4577 relating to driver's licenses.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman, the 93rd, Douglas Hornby, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute for House Bill 4577 is to create a reciprocity agreement with the Republic of Ireland for driver's licenses. The bill allows reciprocity only for citizens of that country, limits legislative rule for licensing reciprocity only for countries specifically authorized by legislature in state code. I urge passage.
Question again before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman, the 25th Delegate Hornbuckle is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman rise for a quick question? And so what was, I guess, the genesis of Ireland being chosen from this program?
So we started, we passed in 2023 the West Virginia Island Trade Commission. And in visiting Ireland, the senators there, there's a lot of Americans in Ireland. So they asked us if we could do it.
Gotcha. And so do we have a similar program with Taiwan?
Taiwan, South Korea, and Germany.
So for Taiwan, South Korea, Germany, do we both have these driver's license, that program for them as well?
Yes, and we have trade offices in those countries too.
Okay, thank you.
Gentleman from the 80th, Douglas Williams, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the gentleman, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
So with this, would someone visiting from Ireland not need an international driver's permit or license anymore?
So if they were visiting West Virginia, they would need to, when they rent a car, they use their Irish driver's license or their international driver's license. It's when they actually become residents, that's when they can get the reciprocity. They have to go to the DMV.
Okay, so this is for newly minted West Virginia residents who are formerly citizens or formerly residents of Ireland.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so this
And
could
vice
also,
versa.
okay, and so I also want to make sure the important delineation. This is not new citizens, but it could be a green card holder in the state as well.
Could be somebody working here, green card holder that's working here.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Gentleman, the 67th, Coop Gonzalez is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield again?
Of course.
I looked at this bill, I don't have an issue with it, but I just thought of something. What side of the road do they drive on in Ireland?
They drive on the other side of the road.
Okay. Do you think that might be an issue if they're
not at all
transitioning? Experience
The
driving
steering
the
wheel's on the other side of the car too.
Okay, thank you.
Gentleman, 93rd, to close debate on the bill. If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? The favor of passage of the bill, please vote aye. Those opposed, please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. There are 88 ayes, 7 nays, and 5 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4577.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. For the bills on third reading.
House Bill 4730, developing a continuum of independent living and transitional support services for youth aging out of foster care.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, the gentleman in 64th, Douglas Burkhammer, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of House Bill 4730 is to require the Department of Human Services to develop and maintain a continuum of services for youth as they begin to transition out of foster care or who have recently exited foster care. This bill sets out the minimum standards for this continuum of transitional services, including the development of process, coverage, models to be developed, rate structures to be developed, and working with private providers and pursuing available federal funds. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Gentleman the 50th, Doggett Pritz, recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There are things that we do in this body that I am proud of, and things like this are one of those things. And I know each of us have constituents who bring the issues of foster care to us, the struggles with the system, maybe they have foster kids themselves. And a bill like this, when we're talking about kids, young adults who are aging out, who have recently aged out of the system, in many instances, these are kids that have been in the system for a prolonged period of time. We're talking about the most vulnerable, downtrodden, out of luck individuals in our society. And we have debates in here all the time about the legitimate function of government. And we disagree and agree at times. But I don't believe there's any person in this room that would disagree that one of the legitimate functions of government is taking care of kids and looking after the most vulnerable kids in our society. And so I'm looking forward to voting for this bill. I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this. Thank you all.
Question again is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentlemen wish to close debate on the bill. If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 95 ayes, 1 nay, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
House Bill 4730.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next, bill on third reading.
House Bill 4819, relating to use of criminal records as disqualification from authorization to practice a particular profession.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman to 68, Doggett Phillips, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of House Bill 4819 is to modify the use of criminal records and determinations to allow an individual to practice a profession or occupation by a board, authority, or other agency authorized to issue licenses, certifications, registrations, or other authorizations to engage in a particular profession or occupation. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman the 57th, Doggett Lewis, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to ditto my friend from Fayette and his sentiments. We passed a lot of bills in here that increase penalties and make it tougher for individuals to get out of the criminal justice system. And I love bills like this because if you make a mistake, particularly in your youth, that should not be a scarlet letter for the rest of your life. So bills like this are important to get people back in the workforce and to, let people just get on with their lives. So I definitely support this bill, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Is there further debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 96 ayes, 0 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
House Bill 4819.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 4958, to create the Southern Coalfield Resiliency and Revitalization Program.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bill was advanced to third reading yesterday with an amendment pending. So at this time, the clerk will please report the amendment.
Delegate Dillon moves to amend the bill. This is HFA Dillon 2-19, number 1.
The question is on adoption of the amendment. At this time, are there objections to allowing the sponsor to explain the amendment in lieu of having it read in full? No objections are heard. Gentleman the 29th, Delegate Dillon, is recognized to explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will try to be brief. Southern West Virginia's had a rough go of late. The recent announcements of layoffs hundreds of jobs in the coal industry, as well as a tough round of rifts and transfers in our public schools. Left a lot of people wondering what comes next. And I appreciate the delegate from the 35th offering this bill in a good faith effort to help our coal-filled region bounce back from hard times. And this amendment is intended to help that effort in a very real way. While we can't fix our issues on the spot and guarantee everyone job security, there is one thing that could offer a much-needed ray of hope for our metallurgical coal producers and miners, create a positive ripple effect across southern West Virginia in the process. With China exerting an increasing amount of downward pressure on the international steel market, it's time that we identify a site for in-state coke production to give West Virginia metallurgical coal a domestic market option to help keep our met coal mines open and running and people working. The amendment builds on the foundation of the Coal-Fired Grid Stabilization Act of 2023, which we passed, tasking the Division of Economic Development with identifying a suitable site for a coke-producing facility located within the coal-filled counties specified in the bill. The site should be optimally located with proximity to rails and a convenient source of metallurgical coal, such as exists in many of the counties identified in the underlying bill. Locating such a site would open the door to an economically viable, value-added process which would leverage our region's strong foundation and core competencies in mining while expanding the number of available skilled positions in the future for coke production and related logistics. Additionally, while the underlying bill has passed the House before, I believe the addition of this amendment will help provide a catalyst to see the bill in its entirety make it through both chambers and be signed into law. This is a great chance to help our people and position the state for a more competitive place in the market going into the future. I strongly urge adoption, and I reserve the right to close.
Question now is on adoption of the amendment just explained. Is there debate on the amendment? Gentleman from the 35th, Douglas Vance, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I'm 100% for coal and helping Southern West Virginia on the met coal, and there's not another person in this building that's probably more pro-coal than what I am, I work in it. It is well intended, and I love the idea of it, but I'm going to have to urge rejection because this is the third year we've done it. We've done this bill, and I'm afraid that we add language to what was already agreed upon, that it would damage the integrity of the bill and not see it through. So I'm regretfully going to urge rejection. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 97th, Douglas Anders, is recognized on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the amendment from my good friend from the 29th, because the bill itself is about revitalizing our southern coal fields. If we're serious about it, we cannot ignore one of the most important value-added products, markets for our coal, which would be coke for steel production. Steel cannot be made in any great amount without coke. If we want real industrial jobs, miners, plant workers, rail, trucking, then we must allow and support the products that makes those industries possible. The amendment simply aligns the bill with economic reality. We say we support coal, we say we support manufacturing, then let's do it. If we want steel jobs in West Virginia, we must allow steel fuel in West Virginia, and as such, I encourage you to adopt the amendment. Thank you.
The question remains on adoption of the amendment. Is there other debate on the amendment? If not, Chair will recognize the sponsor, the gentleman from the 29th, to close debate on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, this type of opportunity for our state is a no-brainer. We have the resources, we have the opportunity, we have the Division of Economic Development, which we send millions of dollars to identify industrial sites around the state. And we have the need in the southern part of the state to create options for our metallurgical coal to be able to support the domestic steel industry. I don't think it's asking too much for the Division of Economic Development to locate one site in southern West Virginia for a coke production plant. And also, the past 2 years, this year and last year, the Senate Energy Committee has reported out an almost identical bill as this amendment, asking for that to happen. The Senate, I believe, with this amendment included in the bill, would be more likely to pass the bill in its totality than by itself. So with that said, I believe this is a great opportunity for our people in our state. I urge adoption, and I ask for the yeas and nays. Thank you.
Debate on the amendment has been closed. The question is on adoption of the amendment. Roll call is requested. Is the request sustained? The request is sustained. The question is, shall the amendment be adopted? Those in favor of adoption of the amendment will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there are 48 ayes, 48 nays, and 4 members absent. Less than a majority in the affirmative. The chair declares the amendment lost. Are there other amendments? If not, the clerk will please read the bill a third time.
House Bill 4958 to create the Southern Coalfield Resiliency and Revitalization Program.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman, the 35th Delegate Vance is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The purpose of House Bill 4958 is to create the Southern Coalfield Resiliency and Revitalization Program, which is in large part modeled after the Upper Kanawha Valley Resiliency and Revitalization Program found in West Virginia Code Section 5B-2-15. The bill defines the Southern Coalfield as the area encompassing Boone, Logan, McDowell, Mingo, and Wyoming counties. The bill is designed to facilitate collaboration amongst state government, higher education, and the private and nonprofit sectors to facilitate community and economic revitalization in the Southern Coalfield area. The Division of Economic Development is given the primary responsibility of implementing and overseeing the program. The bill creates a Revitalization Council composed of the Executive Director of the Division of Economic Development, the Secretaries of the Departments of Health and Human Services or their designees, the Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture or a designee, the Executive Director of the West Virginia Housing Development Fund or a designee, representatives from the county commissions of the Southern Coalfield counties, county directors of economic development, and representatives from higher education. The bill also designates various contributing partners that the council is to work with to the extent possible. The bill requires annual reporting to the governor and to the Joint Committee on Government and Finance. Finally, the bill provides that the program shall be established for an initial period of 5 years from the effective date of the legislation. I urge passage.
You've heard the bill explained. The question now before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman number 36, Leggett Green's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am humbled and grateful for this bill coming forth. I truly appreciate all the sponsors on the bill and the work of the committee getting it to the floor. We passed something very similar last year, and looking forward to it being able to be a help to the southern counties to be able to revitalize them, and again, urge for passage of the bill.
Is there further debate on the bill? Does the gentleman the 35th wish to close debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 95 ayes, 0 nays, and 5 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
House Bill 4958.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5197 relating to a civil action to set aside a tax deed.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, the gentleman the 59th, Douglas Shamblin, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The committee substitute for House Bill 5197 amends Chapter 11, Section 4 to reduce the time period to challenge a tax deed for lack of required notice from 2 years to 1 year after delivery of the deed. That's a brief summary of the bill, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On that question, there were 93 ayes, 3 nays, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5197.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5212 relating to financial aid for post-secondary education.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, Gentleman to 38th, Doug Ellington, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Purpose of the committee substitute for House Bill 5212 is to revise, update, and streamline several of West Virginia's higher education grant, scholarship loan, and workforce development programs, including the Workplace Development Grant Program, Learn and Earn Grant Program, Health Profession Student Loan Programs, the Higher Education Grant Program, Promise Scholarship Program, and the West Virginia Invest Grant Program. The bill requires rulemaking by October 1st of this year and does not change the fiscal impact of these programs. That is the summary of the committee substitute, and I urge passage.
Question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Gentleman the 22nd, Doug Linville, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the sponsor yield?
Yes, sir.
Just one question. I do note in the abstract that this changes the Department of Commerce from being the entity that determines the workforce need for the West Virginia Invest Grant Program to the HEPC, I believe.
That is correct.
Can you inform us, what was that justification?
They felt it was a lot easier to do that and just make determination what is our workforce needs. They would be in consultation with the Department of Commerce, though.
Was Commerce okay with this modification?
I am not aware of any dissent from them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is passage of the bill. Does the gentleman wish to close debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 95 ayes, 1 nay, and 4 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5212.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5228 relating to clarifying the definition of electioneering.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, the gentleman with 98, Douglas Funkhauser, is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is by request of the Secretary of State. It does deal with elections, which is our duty under Article 4 of the Constitution to provide for by general law. House Bill 5228 defines electioneering as the visible display or audible dissemination of information that advocates for or against any candidate or ballot question. The bill contains specific prohibitions, including but not limited to the following: display of a candidate or candidate's committee name, likeness, or logo, display of a ballot's questions, number, title, subject, or logo, campaign-related buttons, clothing, writing utensils that contain electioneering information, distribution of campaign literature, cards or handbills containing electioneering information, soliciting of signatures to any petition, and soliciting of votes for or against a candidate or ballot question. It also clarifies that a member of the news media conducting exit polling does not constitute electioneering, nor do bumper stickers or signs on a voter's vehicle. Any precinct election official, county clerk, deputy county clerk, or any law enforcement official can enforce the election laws and maintain law and order at the polling place and within 100 feet of any entrance to the building in which voting is conducted. Additionally, they may request the assistance of law enforcement. That's a summary of the bill, Mr. Speaker, and I urge passage.
Question before the House, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 57th, Doggett Lewis is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the sponsor yield?
Yes, sir.
So just to put that in plain language, like if somebody had like a MAGA hat and they're going to vote, they wouldn't be able to do that?
If Trump's on the ballot, or change hat if Obama was on the ballot, it's only candidates that are up for the election.
Okay, I don't think Obama and MAGA have anything to do with each other. So you can't wear like a shirt, or no, so we got the clothing. So if you're in line waiting to vote and you're just talking about like who you're gonna vote for, you're talking about politics, you wouldn't be able to do that neither?
You cannot advocate or attempt to persuade. So that is the governor. I think regular, normal conversations that have their pose are not excluded or considered electioneering under this bill.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
Gentleman from the 54th, Doggett Pushkin is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Sure.
So you said that they could wear a Make America Great Again hat into the polls, though. That would be okay?
They wouldn't have been able to on the last 3 presidential elections because the candidate that logo was affiliated with was on the ballot.
But it doesn't say the candidate's name on that. It's a slogan.
Donald Trump trademarked that, so it was affiliated with him, and you wouldn't have been able to wear that on
He trademarked that, so some of that money goes to him when you buy one of those hats?
I don't know how that works, but you trademarked it.
Mistakes. Anyway, I digress. What about if somebody is driving a taxi, for example, and somebody pays for a political ad on top of that car, and they're driving somebody that cab is driving somebody to vote?
Sure, yeah, we brought that up in committee. Actually, the gentleman from the 5th did, and that's acceptable.
That's acceptable? Okay, thank you.
Lady from the 56th, Doggett Young is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you continue yielding? So it says that visible display or audible dissemination of information that advocates for or against any candidate or ballot question. But then it says includes but is not limited to a display of a candidate's or committee's name. So if you just say a candidate's name, is that considered electioneering?
Displaying is different than saying.
Well, but it says audible. So would an audible display be saying their name?
It's got to be an attempt to persuade, to advocate for or against.
But then what's with the display? If it's just like present?
That would be a visual display.
But what if you just say their name? Is that prohibited?
I think it's the facts and circumstances of each circumstances of how it's said and what context based on the election officials that are supervising those poll places.
Okay, so like if your parent is in line voting and they know the person in front of them and they're like, wow, I hope my son wins his election, is that electioneering?
Not advocating, it's expressing a hope. So facts and circumstances of each case, and the poll workers are governing poll places is how that be interpreted.
So saying like, I hope Donald Trump wins is not displaying hope or advocating for them?
It's getting close, but it again, it's if you're it depends the context of the situation. Are you trying to have a conversation, as the gentleman pointed out earlier, just saying, who might I vote for, or you're trying to commandeer the people that are standing in line next to you and persuading them and advocating to vote for a preferred candidate.
Okay, so what if there's a ballot measure or constitutional amendment on the ballot and it's like amendment number 1 and you're wearing like a t-shirt that just has a 1 on it? Is that electioneering?
No.
Even though it says a display of a ballot question number?
If it's Amendment 1, you may be in trouble. But again, facts and circumstances of each case. And if you look at the language that's struck, what we're doing here on the first page.
I'm looking at the languages in there that we're putting in the code.
But it all pertains to expressly advocating, which this further fleshes out under these sections.
But a display of a ballot questions number. So Amendment 1, you got a 1 on your shirt. That's not a display of the number?
Yes, but it all goes back to the paragraph that was stricken out, which has new language that is according to dissemination of information that advocates for or against any candidate or question.
But if we're striking that out, we're taking that out of code, so who cares?
That's the language that advocates to visible display or audible dissemination of information that advocates for or against any candidate or ballot question. All the questions you've asked me are the subsections that all relate to that. That's the condition precedent for it.
Sure, but then it just says it includes a display of the number, that is included as electioneering.
If that visibly advocates for a candidate or a ballot question, that would be considered electioneering.
So if it's like yes one, no one, that's electioneering, but if it's just like number one, you're good.
That's right.
Got it, thanks.
You bet.
Gentleman, the 25th, Douglas Hornbuckle was recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Through the Q&A, and I do appreciate the gentleman from the 98th and everyone else that has spoke on this, I think there's an issue that is going to cut both ways. And it truly lies with the audible part of this piece of legislation in regards to the election official. When we're in these halls, we know how it works. It could be any party. And I think we are seriously putting ourselves into some legal challenges, some serious litigation ahead. So I think we should slow down on this piece of legislation because, again, I think it's going to cut both ways and how it could be very damaging. And so I would urge the body to reject this piece of legislation in its current form.
Is there other debate on the bill? Gentleman wish to close debate on the bill? Gentleman from the 98th to close debate on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill simply clarifies some ambiguities. A number of clerks have contacted the Secretary of State's office requesting a lot of this language so they can help govern our elections better and keep it orderly. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on this question. We had 80 ayes, 13 nays, and 7 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5228.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
House Bill 5273 relating to campaign financial statements by candidates for municipal office.
Question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, the gentleman from the 98th, Douglas Funkhauser, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have another election bill by request of the Secretary of State before us. House Bill 5273 undertakes 2 substantive changes to the current code. Currently, candidates for election in a municipality are already required to file financial disclosures with their municipal clerk. The bill amends that to require that disclosure to be filed with their county clerk, and in a municipality that sits in more than one county, the financial statements required by this section shall be filed in the county that contains the greatest geographical proportion of the municipality. Further, it provides that all financial statements shall be published to the public on a website or webpage maintained by the office with which the reports are filed by no later than 48 hours after the close of each filing period. That's the summary of the bill, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Gentleman from the 54th, Douglas Pushkin, is recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jim, thanks for remaining standing. Are there currently municipalities that aren't requiring their candidates to publish or that aren't publishing the finance reports from candidates?
No, but this changes where the 10 days, it's currently 10 days. This makes it 48 hours on the website of the Secretary of State.
Okay, and it also requires them to publish it on the website, correct? So
Yes.
I was just asking, are there municipalities that aren't publishing it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, this just speeds up the reporting deadline, really?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Thank you very much. I think this increases transparency, and I would support the bill.
Is there further debate on the bill? If not, those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result. On this question, we had 95 ayes, 0 nays, and 5 members absent. A majority of the members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
House Bill 5273.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Next bill on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5430 relating to pharmaceutical benefits.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Are there objections to having the bill explained in lieu of having the bill read? If not, gentleman, the 23rd, Doug Worrell to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this committee substitute for House Bill 5430 updates the regulation of pharmacy benefit managers in West Virginia. It prohibits PEIA from contracting with the PBM, which owns a pharmacy in West Virginia. It makes PEIA's PBM subject to the Pharmacy Audit Integrity Act, which would give the OIC the authority to audit the PBM to confirm compliance with rebate law, specialty drug definition, and the pharmacy reimbursement. It requires Medicaid and PEIA to implement a pharmacy cost containment tool that engages prescribers to promote lowest net cost drug decisions and reduce polypharmacy. It also requires the vendor operating the tool to be separate from any PBM contract and to provide guaranteed savings and detailed reporting. It also updates the Pharmacy Audit Integrity Act by prohibiting PBMs from using group purchasing organizations to avoid statutory requirements and permits OIC access to information held by GPOs. It also tightens up the spread pricing language by prohibiting the charging of plans higher than the NADAC, and if it doesn't exist, the PBM shall not pay an amount higher than what it paid. And finally, Mr. Speaker, it requires the insurance commissioner to conduct a biennial study of the cost to dispense outpatient drugs in West Virginia. The study is whether the dispensing fee established in code at 1049 is appropriate, and the study is due by December 1st, 2026. That is a summary of the bill, Mr. Speaker, and I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman, the 36th, they got Greens recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to rise in strong support of House Bill 5430. And friends, I want to go into a little bit of a detail because we hear a lot about the cost of PEIA. Teachers, state workers, retirees are watching their premiums go up every year, and prescription drugs is a major cost of that, or a major component of that increase. This is not a small problem. Pharmacy costs are a large driver of spending in PEIA, and the people paying the price are our constituents. This bill significantly helps rein in drug spending while not taking any benefits away from our constituents. Right now, pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, sit between the insurance plan and the pharmacy counter. They negotiate prices, process claims, and then they also can pocket the difference between what they charge PEIA and what they actually pay the pharmacy. This is often called spread pricing, as the chairman already mentioned. Spread pricing has cost the state, many state health plans across this country, hundreds of millions of dollars, and that money is coming out of the pockets of our teachers, out of our state employees, and out of our state budget. This bill starts to close the door and rein in a system that for too long has been working for PBM profits instead of for our people. I want to take a moment to say something that doesn't get said a lot on this floor, and West Virginia is not behind on this issue. We are actually leading this issue. Our own Life and Health Director at the Office of the Insurance Commissioner, Joylyn Fix, is one of the foremost PBM policy experts in the entire country. She chairs the PBM working group of the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, an organization that's made up of all 50 states and our territories. She also chairs their prescription drug working group. She's testified before more than 15 different stakeholder bodies across the nation on PBM reform. Most recently, and this was just very recently, within the last month, before the Kansas Senate, when states across America want to know how to rein in PBM abuse and protect their health plans, they look to West Virginia and they look to Joylyn Fix. We have a nationally recognized expert sitting right here in Charleston, and we have an obligation to use that expertise. This puts real tools in the insurance commissioner's hands and real teeth in our law, and that's exactly what this bill does. And if the body will bear with me for a little bit, to risk of being redundant from what the chairman already mentioned, 5430, it first puts PEIA fully under the Pharmacy Audit Integrity Act, meaning the PBMs managing our and state employees' benefits are now subject to the same rules and oversight as everyone else. There's no more carve-outs. Second, it prohibits PBMs from changing for charging PEIA more than what they pay the pharmacy for a drug. Pass-through pricing will no longer be here. Pass-through pricing is what will be here, and the spread pricing will not be here anymore in West Virginia. That's simple and fair. Third, it bans PBMs from steering our business to pharmacies that they own. That's a conflict of interest, and this bill says that you can't manage our pharmacy benefit and also profit off of your own pharmacies at the same time. And fourth, and this is something that I'm particularly excited about, it requires PEIA and Medicaid to implement a pharmacy cost containment tool by July 1st of this year. This tool actively works with prescribing providers to identify the lowest net cost options for patients. It comes with a savings guarantee. We're not just hoping for savings, we're contractually requiring them. And finally, it directs the insurance commissioner to study the real cost of dispensing drugs here in West Virginia so we can have an accurate, current data driving future policy decisions. Our people have been crying out. The cost of PEIA has been a breaking point for too many families in the state, and prescription drug costs are a major reason why. We have the right law in front of us today, and we have the right people to enforce it. Let's back up our expertise with action and show the people of West Virginia that we heard them. I urge a strong yes vote.
Is there further debate on the bill? Does the gentleman, the 23rd, wish to close debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage of the bill will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will please close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 95 ayes, 0 nays, and 5 members absent. Majority of members having voted in the affirmative, the chair declares the bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5430.
Are there title amendments? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be and remain the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Are there further bills on third reading? If not, bills on second reading.
Senate Bill 393, updating corporate net income tax definitions.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 400, updating personal income tax definitions and provisions of law relating to gaming and gambling losses.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 4087, create the West Virginia-Ireland Education Alliance.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4404, increase the allowance for volunteer and part volunteer fire companies and allowing fire departments to make expenditure for educational and training supplies and fire prevention promotional materials.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4500, permitting the Berkeley County Commission to levy a special district excise tax for the benefit of the Berkeley County Economic Opportunity Development District under certain conditions.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5105, relating to financial exploitation of a person in recovery.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5168, to increase funding for EMS first responders.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5198, relating to crimes against the intellectually disabled.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
House Bill 5203, to forbid any municipality from issuing an ID for the purpose of voting in a municipal election.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 5214, relating to drug testing of parents who have had an abuse and or neglect claims substantiated against them prior to unification.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced. Are there other bills on second reading? If not, bills on first reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4537, requiring municipalities to take action when potential customers apply for water and sewer service.
Bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4591, to recognize school athletic directors who have achieved a nationally recognized professional certification through the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4603, relating to the creation of the process of obtaining and adjudicating a pre-adjudicatory alternative disposition.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4656, relating to chronic absenteeism.
Bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4663, to repeal the requirement for a special license for a multi-vendor private fair and festival.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4799, to establish the cold case task force in the state of West Virginia.
Bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4842, relating to civil remedies for the unauthorized disclosure of intimate images.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4850, providing online training for executors, executrix of an estate.
Bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4341, to create a domestic violence registry.
Bill will be advanced. Other bills on first reading? If not, leaves of absence. Gentleman, the 37th.
Mr. Speaker, for our friends Delegate Kump, Levitt, McGinn, and Brian Smith.
Are there objections to leaves of absence being granted? No objections are heard, and those leaves of absence will be granted. Introductions. Gentleman, the 23rd, Delegate Worrell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Briefly, pleased to have today in the North Gallery my boss, Chelsea, also my clinical manager, Tanya, and my regional manager, Kristen. If they would stand, if the House would please make them feel welcome.
Are there other introductions? Gentleman from the 30th, Douglas Eldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have my grandson here, oldest grandson. Tell him hi. Make him feel welcome.
Are there other introductions? Miscellaneous business. Gentleman from the 37th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move subject to announcements that the House adjourn until 11 a.m. Monday, February 23rd.
Are there announcements? Gentleman from the 37th.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Rules will meet Monday, 10:45 in the Speaker's conference room.
Gentleman from the 72nd, Douglas Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Finance will have a committee meeting February 23rd at 9 a.m. That's Monday, February 23rd, in the House Finance Committee room. The agenda will be posted. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 41st, Delegate Maynor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Judiciary will meet on Monday, February 23rd at 9 a.m. in the Judiciary Committee room. Republican members of the committee will caucus in the Chairman's office at 8:45 a.m. and the agendas will be posted. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 39th, Douglas Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Government Organization and the Flood Committee will have a joint meeting today at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda is posted. Your Standing Committee on Government Organization will also meet Monday at 1 p.m. in the Government Organization Committee room. The agenda will be posted, and Republicans will caucus at 12:45 in the Chair's office. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from the 92nd, Douglas Height.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet Monday, February 23rd, 30 p.m. in the Health and Human Resources Committee room. Republican members will caucus at 3 p.m. The agenda is posted. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 43rd, Delegate Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Education will meet today at 1:15 in the Education Committee room. The agenda is posted. Additionally, your Standing Committee on Education will meet again Monday, February the 23rd at 1 p.m. in the Education Committee room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman from the 2nd, Douglas Atezolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Standing Committee on Energy and Public Works will meet Monday, February 23rd in the House Judiciary Committee room at 3 p.m. Thank you.
Gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hilliard.
Excuse me, the agenda is posted.
Pardon the chair. Gentleman from the 88th, Douglas Hillenbrand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Veterans Caucus will be meeting Monday morning, 0700 in the McManus room.
Ladies and gentlemen, toward the end of our legislative session every year, we pause to recognize those who provide service to the body as our staff. We have one member of our staff, Mr. Van Armstrong, one of our security detail, who will be leaving us today. He is retiring from our employ. We want to wish him well and thank him for his service to this body. Further announcements. If not, the questions on the motion that the House adjourns at 11 a.m. Monday. Those in favor will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We are adjourned until 11 a.m. Monday.